I and other libertarians have spoken elsewhere about how a libertarian regime would combat the COVID crisis. I'd like to turn to the non-health aspects of this crisis: employment, commerce, school. In all ways, a libertarian regimen, that would mean a buildup over many years of thought. That means self-reliance rather than government reliance. It means private organizations rather than big government organizations. It means choice rather than command. So when that's instilled, and I think that can be instilled fairly quickly. I mean, for God's sake, we've made so many fast changes in the last 5 weeks. So can a libertarian regime take hold in our mindset over 5 years? Absolutely. So this is realistic, looking forward to maybe the next crisis. Unemployment insurance. People say, if it's not for the government, how could these people who've suddenly been laid off possibly support themselves? Well, first off, libertarian is not an island. We believe in communities. I'm a conservatarian. Conservative values can and will shine through and help people who are really in need. By the way, help people a lot more surgically, a lot better, because we know our neighbors' need far better than the state government does. We know what they need and how deep it is, and we have a human way of helping better than a check that often comes at the end of a line of a bureaucratic website that might have not been working at the time. Now, as for the insurance itself, if you haven't been paying for state-mandated unemployment insurance, and your employer instead has been able to pay you what's been withheld for the last, let's say, 15 years. In my state, it's 6.8% of the first $15,000 of every worker. So let's say there's a husband and wife, and collectively they've earned on average $100,000 each over the last $100,000 total, 15 straight years. They have paid in about $30,000, about $1,000 a year times 15 times 2 people. So what kind of stash do they have built up? Well, it's not just the $30,000. It is a multiplier of it. At least 2.5 times that, maybe 4 times that. You end up with conservatively $80,000 to $90,000 if just invested ordinarily. You go back 15 years, and that includes the Great Recession of 2008, 2009. Okay, your average mutual fund, and include this whack that we've taken in stocks for the last 2 months. Your average mutual fund has nearly tripled. Okay, so please recognize that your own savings gives you a cushion of probably a year's worth of after-tax earnings. Okay, you earn 100, but after tax you're really keeping about 78. So you probably have saved somewhere between $80,000 and $90,000 after your savings have built up. Who needs unemployment insurance? Second, small businesses that might be shutting down for a long time. Libertarians are very eager to keep them in business without government. Here's an example. We make loans. That could be individuals without the FDIC in the middle of it. I personally have, as a business, I've made offers now to 2 suppliers of mine who are kind of in jeopardy. I will pre-buy your product, so it's not even a loan, but I'm going to prepay so that you've got operating money on your shutdown time. Stay in business. Even restaurants, I would loan money to a small restaurant that I expect to frequent a year from now. Pay me back at 98%. Okay, I will give you 2%. So I'm not making money. I'm giving up a little bit for the sake of you having income to stay in business. What about schools? Well, libertarians really like choice in school in the first place. So you would never see libertarians statewide saying, all schools must be shut down. Private schools would make their own decisions. What is safe for our children right now? What is safe we expect 2 months from now? Kids have COVID. Many kids have had the COVID disease and overcome it without any symptoms. Many have gotten mildly sick. They're not dying. Okay? Kids, few are even getting sick in the first place. This is a disease that has affected horribly some older Americans, some middle-aged Americans with health conditions. It really is not a health effect on schools that we know or we expect. So, even in the public normal realm, charter schools, you're stuck with a whole district-wide decision. Why don't you make it your own decision? Your school board, the active parents along with administrators. That may mean some older teachers don't come back into the classroom. They are in jeopardy. And we elevate paras who have been working under some older teachers, and now it's time to step up. Kids whose parents want them to stay home, keep all risks away, join the same classroom through the internet. And my firm has been doing that. I'm an educator, okay? Private education, we have done online melding of face-to-face with outside kids. They take practice tests. They do reviews for the SAT with us. And they join the physical room from their homes. Schools can be doing this with kids who want to stay out. No stigma if you're staying away. You do your assignments like everybody else. You participate like everybody else. We simply can't touch you, which we wouldn't do in the school anyway. It works. And a libertarian mindset will comfort us before any crisis even shows its head again if we know that we can rely on each other. Now, this is not coming out of a fantasy novel. This is America with a libertarian mindset, which we had, okay? 90 years ago, families came together in a Great Depression. And ladies and gentlemen, nobody starved. We relied on one another, and we didn't rely on government. FDR added a lot of government programs to start sucking power to states and federal agencies, but it didn't help. It put us deeper into a depression. It took World War II expansion to get us out. So you ended up losing because of big government. The family help that kept America staying strong even in crisis. We should return to that. And now that we have better technology, so much better communication, generally better health care, we can survive things so much better without big government. I'm Mark Stewart. Thanks for listening.